everybody in church with you, please stand and join us in a few songs.
Power runs in my veins too. Your welcome to Church With You Online. I am so glad that you are here with us this morning. If you are a regular, it is great to see you again. If you are brand new, man, we are super stoked that you are here with us this morning. Now, here's what I need you to do, new folks, okay? If this is your first, second, or third time, I need you to fill out an online Connect card. We just straight up need to know you're here, okay? Because this becomes pretty impersonal if we don't connect. So let's go ahead and fill out an online Connect card. Our online Connect card comes with a hassle-free guarantee. What that means is you will not get 100,000 phone calls. You will not get your email spammed. You will not get text messages. And we for sure will not show up at your front door. So no fear, fill out that card. Let us know where you're from, you know, all that good stuff, so we can contact you, send you a letter in the mail saying thank you for joining us and how you can get more connected here at Church With You. So go ahead and do that, okay? Now, I'm going to go ahead and jump into a time of giving. Your giving makes more of a difference than you will ever know. Look, I walked into the doors of Church With You almost 4.5 years ago, and I sit in someone else's sacrifice every single week. Okay, and what I mean by that is somebody gave the money to purchase the chairs I sit in on Sunday. And somebody purchased the camera that's videoing you right now. So your generosity can literally change lives. It is changing lives. We are seeing people saying yes to Jesus all the time. And it is because of generous people, the generous people here at Church With You that give faithfully, that make it happen. So thank you for your generosity. And there are tons of ways to give, okay? Now, you know you can give on the app, you can give online, setting up a recurring gift, you can give text to give, you can pop it in the mail, whatever. There's tons of ways. We make it super simple. So whatever works for you, okay? But your generosity is changing lives every single week. Guys, buckle up. We're going into week 4 of Breaking Free.
y'all be seated. Check out church news.
Man, we are so excited that you are here with us today, and I'm going to come at you with a little bit of church news, and evidently I'm going to come at you really closely. Really close. We have been having some fun in 2021. Listen, people are accepting Jesus, people are getting baptized, confetti's flying everywhere. We're having a blast. I hope you guys have been along for the journey, and if you haven't, welcome. This is very exciting. Listen, if you or someone you know has accepted Christ recently or maybe even in the past and you're ready to take that next step in baptism, sign up today. That's right. Yes, we know that the next baptism is down the road, but here's the deal. We will change that. If you're ready to get baptized now, we're ready to baptize you now. We want to make you taking that next step in baptism as easy as possible. So sign up today. Now, we also have something coming up that's one of my favorite things that we do all year long, and it's back and it's ready. So daddies, get ready because Daddy-Daughter Dance is happening. When is it? Oh my gosh. Hilton is contagious. Really close. Because maybe you'll pay attention more if I say it like this. Daddy-Daughter Dance. Okay, so I think it's February 19th. Sometime in February, there's Daddy-Daughter Dance. It's literally the best Daddy-Daughter Dance in town. And so we want to encourage you guys to go to Daddy-Daughter Dance. See, there was one other thing. Color Wars. Color Wars. That's right. This Wednesday, students, if you haven't been coming to Fusion, you've been missing out. Let me tell you, we have Color Wars happening this Wednesday night. We want you to wear white, number one. That's the only thing you have to do. And bring your friends, number two. And come ready to have a blast. We're gonna throw color at each other. Probably gonna eat some of this color. I'm not sure if that's good for you or not, but it's okay. It's gonna be a blast. We're gonna have a great time and you don't wanna miss it. So bring all your friends, invite all your friends, get your mama to load up her minivan and get here at 6:30 in order to experience Color Wars at Fusion on Wednesday night. Don't miss it. Color Wars, Fusion, Wednesday night. That's it. That's all the church news there is.
What's going on, everybody? Yes, that's better than the rest of the service so far at Enterprise. Hey, welcome to Church With You. If we haven't met yet, my name's Eric, and along with my wife, Cheyenne, we got the privilege of starting Church With You in 2014, and today we're one church meeting in multiple locations. We got our Enterprise campus, we got our Ozark campus, we're meeting in other cities, countries, states, all the way around the world, thanks to Church Online. All of us are coming together right here, right now for one church, one service. So come on, put your hands together. Let's welcome everybody to church. We love you guys. Man, I'm so excited about today. Hey, I got a couple of quick things before we jump in today. A couple of very important things that you need to be aware of. And the first thing is my beard is growing back in nicely. Some of you are like, nervous laughter. Some of y'all are like, what is he talking? Why is he talking about his beard? If you didn't know, we've had a challenge at Church With You across Enterprise and Ozark. We have big green boxes sitting in the middle of the lobby, and we are challenging you to invite, right? Challenge you to believe one of our core values, which is an empty seat is it's a big deal, right? And if it's a big deal, then we're going to invite people to come and sit in it, right? So we've been inviting people like crazy, and we gave you the goal of 1,000. Now, I said if you hit 1,000, I'll shave my beard off that I haven't shaved off in like 6 or 7 years. And a week and a half ago, everybody, I was baby facing it. Come on, I went all baby face. It was awesome. And I just want to let you know that I'm never doing it again. Okay, so for those of you who were on the fence and you were like, dude, that dude looks weird without one, it's coming back and it's coming in nicely. But I will tell you that I saw the culture of inviting because I got out like Wednesday, we shaved it and all that, and then I came to Code Green that night, right? Wednesday in Enterprise, and I rolled up in the parking lot, and by the time that I kind of walked toward the church, I'd almost gotten invited to church 3 different times by 3 different people. Right? It was one of those things. It was one of those that was like, hey, listen, hey, you're brand new. You want to come? You're not brand new. Right? So I'm telling you, you guys are doing an incredible job. Keep inviting, keep throwing balls in that ball pit, keep living out. An empty seat is a big deal, and we'll continue to see lives change. So that was the one thing that you probably didn't need to know, but I just wanted to tell you. But the second thing you do need to know, get your clapping hands ready, get your celebrating hands ready. Come on, get ready. Some of y'all ain't moving. Get ready to celebrate. You ready? Because in 3 weeks, in 2021, this is unheard of, but in 3 weeks, we have seen 19 salvations, everybody. Come on. Isn't that incredible? In 3 weeks. But not only that, keep clapping. Not only 19 salvations, we've seen 15 baptisms as well. Isn't that cool? That's awesome. Like, that's why we do what we do, and I'm stinking proud to be a part of that, man. And here's what I believe with all of my heart. If you and I will stay focused on people who are far from God, well, we can reach them with the message of Jesus, man. I just got to believe that Jesus is just getting started in 2021, right? I believe he's just getting started. 19 salvations, 15 baptisms. You ain't seen no. We're going to get to the end of 2021 and go, oh, how cute. Starting off the year with 19 salvations. Like, boom, we got like 9 million. Man, I'm believing God's going to work and he's going to move. And man, I just truly believe that. So I'm excited about what's to come. Now I'm excited about today, too, because this is my first time preaching on Sunday in 2021. Like, I'm jumping in the middle of a series. Right, y'all enjoyed this series so far? Hadn't our team done incredible? They've done a phenomenal job on giving this to you. But here's the basic idea. If you're brand new and you missed it, here's the goal. Is me and you both have some things that have held us up in our life that I believe 2021 is the year that you and I are going to break free from them. Right, that's the goal. Like, we've got some stuff inside of us that's not nice and not good, and we know we shouldn't be doing it, but we can't help but to do it anyway. And then we're going to get free in 2021. So we started off the year, really the first Sunday, giving you the foundation of this series, which was the understanding and the belief that there is a way out of it. Because how many of you know that the enemy, the devil, will lie to you and tell you that you will deal with whatever you're dealing with for the rest of your life, so you might as well try to stop getting out. Like, stop trying. Like, this is who you are. This is what you're dealing with for the rest of your life. But can I tell you, we battle in that with the second week of the series, where you're defeating the lies of the enemy and you're believing the truth that God said. He made a statement. He says, you'll never be tempted beyond what you can bear. And then when you are, there will always be a way out, right? You'll walk into freedom because he will always provide you a way out of temptation, a way out of the strongholds on your life. Then last week, we started getting a little bit more practical with the strongholds, right? We've recognized a couple of different strongholds we believe that we're facing right now. And we started last week talking about the stronghold of addiction, right? Identifying it as an addiction, and then how you get free from some of that, right? And then next week, we're jumping into something. I just got to lay this disclaimer out to you. Next week's PG-13, everybody. I was giving it. How many of you know you'd love to have a heads up about that instead of just showing up and halfway through the service figuring it out on your own? Here's your heads up. Next week's PG-13. So if you want to take advantage of Church with Kids, man, we have an incredible team at both locations that serve their tails off every single week to create a fun, safe environment so that kids can learn about Jesus on their level. I love them being in here if you want to continue being in here, but I just want you to be prepared. Next week's PG-13. Because next week we're talking about sexual strongholds. You're like, can the church talk about that? Let me give you the foundational fact that sex was God's idea. And if the church doesn't talk about it, then who are we learning about it from? Right, so we're going to talk about it. I believe there's some lies that we're kind of accepting as individuals and as Americans and as people in our culture today that I believe that if we truly see what God says about some of that, then it'll set us free from some things that have held us captive and held us from walking into everything God has for our lives. I really believe that. So next week, going to get a little tense out, but it's going to be PG-13, so just take whatever precaution you need to moving into that, all right? I'm excited about that because I believe that is an area that if we break free from some of these thoughts, then it'll change every area of our life. It'll strengthen our lives in 2021. All right, so y'all ready for today? Today we're diving in. We're going to figure out, you and I are going to have to figure out right now how to overcome financial strongholds. How to overcome financial strongholds. Because you don't have to look very far and you'll figure out that finances are something that people struggle with. Or just is. Now, you've heard me say that word stronghold for a minute. I just want to put it in context. I made a 17 on my ACT, so I need that word broken down. Are you following me? Like, I'm going to give you the basic of what a stronghold is. A stronghold is an area of your life where the devil keeps picking at you. That's a stronghold. It's an area of your life that if he's going to destroy your life, if he's going to detour you off of the path that God has for your life, then it's going to be in that area. Are you following me? It's the area that he picks on you constantly. That's a stronghold. It's that area that plagues your life. I wish I didn't do it, but I keep going back. And I do it over and over and over. It's that area that he consistently picks on you. And everybody has a different area. That's why we hit on addiction last week. That's why we're talking about sex next week. That's why we're talking about money today, is because every single one of us has a different area in our lives where the devil picks on us. So how do you get free from that? Right? Now, you don't have to look far to figure out that this is an issue, but I'm a statistic person, because how many of you know numbers don't lie? You wish they did, and I wish they did, because you stand on a scale and you're like, no, this thing wrong. It's lying. It's lying. It's lying. These numbers lying. Right? And did you know on the back that you can make it lie if you want to? You can change that setting. You can change it to whatever you want to see. But the truth is the truth. Numbers don't lie. They don't. And I'm looking through statistics going, okay, well, we have a problem when it comes to money. Money has become a stronghold over our lives, and it's done it in a couple of different ways. Okay, we're going to talk about both of them today. But the first way that money has become a stronghold over our lives is through this thing we call debt. Because money can strangle the life out of you and take you down a road that you never intended to walk down when it comes to the reality of debt. So Ramsey Solutions did this study. They did this research that really they talked about the state of finances among American households. And can I tell you, it's sobering to look at. I just want to show you a couple of these. Look at these right here. This is the average consumer debt across generations. So baby boomers, like individually, baby boomers stand at $16,000 worth of debt per baby boomer. Right? So if you're married, you double that, that's the average. Okay? Then Gen Xers are at 29 and millennials are at 26. Now, if you're like me and you're looking at statistics and you're going, okay, but what's their filter? Come on, I try to think through some of this. I don't know if that's you or not. You hear a statistic and you try to think through. If you see a statistic and you're just like, oh, okay, I'll believe that just because that's what they said. No, think through some of that, because I think through that and I go, okay, but what's that actually mean? Because not all baby boomers are in that much debt. Not all Gen Xers and not all millennials are in that much debt. So what is that? Like a couple of people per generation that have like hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of debt, and then it's averaging out to be that? Is that what it is? Well, I'm grateful I asked the question, because how many of you know Dave Ramsey and his team figured it out? Check this out. I want to show you the percentage of each generation. 62% of baby boomers are in that much debt, 71% of Gen Xers, and then 70% of millennials. How many of you know it's a problem? It's a problem. Now, I have to make this statement because if you're not careful, you'll think that this is a political statement. And it's not. I don't mean it as a political statement. If you hear it as a political statement, that's fine, but I'm just telling you this is not a political statement. But before I show you the next slide, when we see this much debt, our world goes, okay, how can we help? Like the America that we live in goes, okay, how can we help? And for some reason, some way, shape, form, or fashion, we have come to this conclusion that if we just get more money, then we'll be in less debt. Are you tracking? That's why stimulus package after stimulus package was given. That's why we're talking about raising the minimum wage. If people would be able to make a livable wage, then they wouldn't be in debt. But can I tell you, this is not a political statement. It is a common sense statement. It does not matter how much money you make. If you do not manage it, you will always be in debt. That's not political. That's just common sense. But yet we stand here going, well, I think this is a good idea. Let's just keep doing what we're doing. No. This is not political state, common sense. Because we have been led to believe if you made more money, you'd be out of debt. Look at the next part of Ramsey's Solutions deal. They said the average consumer debt per household income. Look at this. If you make less than $50,000, you're $19,000 worth of debt. But if I just made more money, y'all following? If I just made $100,000, if I made it, if I made $100,000 a year, I don't know why people in debt making $100,000 a year. If I made $100,000 a year, I wouldn't be in debt. That's not what statistics show. Even though you make more, how many of you know the stronghold of money has got a hold of us and we're still in it? So the question is, how do you defeat the stronghold of money? Right? The first way that it does that is through defeating this whole thing of I need it. Because how many of you know you and I have this internal thing in us that says, once I get something, I want more of it. Come on, how many of you know if you've ever driven, if you've ever owned a brand new car, it is really hard to go to that clunker. Oh, y'all ain't fault. Y'all just leave me up here all by myself. Y'all gonna act like I'm the only one that's done this. Y'all gonna act like I'm the only one that's been stupid and bought a brand new car and then had to go into a clunker. No, you've done it too. But how many of you know, every time I get in it, I'm like, oh gosh. Because there's something internal in me and in you that once you get something, you want a little bit more of it. And then it's this desire of, if I could just drive that car, if I could just have that house, if I could graduate college and live in the same house that my mom and dad lives in right now, forgetting that they worked 30 years to get there. If I do that, I'd be seen as successful. Come on, we have this constant state of, man, if I just had more, I'd be seen better. But can I tell you, Jesus made a statement about that. Luke, he makes this statement. He says, beware. How many of you know you should listen when Jesus says, watch out? You better watch out. Guard against every kind of greed. And then he makes this. He says, life is not measured by how much you own. It's not measured by how much you own. You and I live in a culture that is telling us if you'll just get this, then you'll measure up to a bar that is ever moving. And that's how debt can become a stronghold over our life. Okay, but money can be a stronghold over your life even if you don't have any debt. Do you know that there are people who live without debt? Like they're in the room. Like you have people living in this room that are living without debt. What? I know you didn't think it was possible, but it is possible. And we have something at church that can help you, right? If that's what you want, if you want to live without debt, we got something at the church that we can help you with that. I'll talk about that a little bit later. But when you look at people and they start going, well, I ain't got any debt. Like when you look at a financial world, right? I got a bachelor's in business administration and finance, right? That don't mean nothing. It's just got a sheet of paper and went to school. But when you look at it, you look at people who have no debt. You look at people who are stable jobs and all that. There's a word that we use for it in the financial world, and it's called financially stable or financially secure. And we throw that around like it's a good thing. And it is, as long as it doesn't take over you. See, it's not a problem for you to have money. It's a problem when money has you. So when you get to a place and you're going, well, I'm secure. Like I'm secure in that, then you start to think that you can insulate yourself from the world's problems. Like I got enough. I can take care of me. I can take care of me. But look what Proverbs tells us. It makes this statement. It says, the wealth of the riches is their fortified city. I came from nothing. I worked my tail off. I'm a self-made person. And the wealth is their fortified city, which they imagine to be too high to scale. Let me tell you, when money becomes a stronghold in your life in another form, with the exception of debt, it becomes a stronghold in your life when you think you don't need anybody to save you. Because what you realize is you start looking, you're like, hey, my accounts are good. Our accounts are good. Like, we look good. But then you get to a place where you're like, but what about the economy? Like, what if the market crashes? We need more. Isn't this where we go? Come on, if we just had more, we'd get out of debt. No, even if you don't have debt, if we just had more, then we could insulate ourselves from the problems of the world. But here's what I know. If you live long enough, you'll figure out the same thing that Solomon already figured out, and he wrote it down in Ecclesiastes. He said this: those who love money will never have enough. You'll never have enough. And then he steps on your toes and he steps on my toes, and he says how absurd it is to think that wealth brings true happiness. So the question becomes, how do you and how do I make sure that money doesn't become a stronghold? How do we break free from it even if it has become a stronghold in our life? That's the question. So I'm about to give you a statement that's as simple as can be to break the stronghold of money in your life. But can I tell you, as simple as the statement is, it's really hard to live out. You want to know what it is? Want to know how to break the stronghold of money? Here's how you break it right here. You break the stronghold of money with a generous spirit. And I want to, this word's highlighted on purpose, because I just want to talk about it for a second. Because let me tell you something about your money and my money, is our money is not neutral. Like, it has a spirit on it. Right? And it has a spirit on it because your heart has a spirit on it. And the Bible says wherever your heart is, there your treasure will be also. So whatever spirit has my heart will be leading my money, and therefore my money has the spirit that my heart has. Are you tracking? Jesus made this statement about money. He's having the same conversation with his people that I'm having with us today, and he makes this statement. He says, no servant can serve two masters, for he will either hate the one and love the other, or he'll else be loyal to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and mammon. Now, I use that version because that's really the only version that has that word in it. And that word's important. You know why? Because I researched and I figured out that this word mammon was talking about a god that people worshiped. And the people in Syria in the day of Jesus, they were worshiping this god called Mammon, who was the god of riches. So they were worshiping Mammon, thinking that he was the god of riches, so therefore he would richly bless them with everything that they would need. So when Jesus makes this statement, it's important for you to know that Mammon is a spirit, right, that goes against God. It's a spirit of mammon that people worship besides worshiping God. Are you tracking with me so far? It's important for us to know that because our money has a spirit on it. So does it have the spirit of God or does it have the spirit of mammon? That's what you and I have to figure out. Is our money following the spirit of God or is it following the spirit of mammon? So I want to give you two ways that you can make sure that you can break the stronghold, that you can go, nope, it's not following mammon, it's not following everything that goes against God, it's following God. I want to make sure my whole life in 2021 is following Jesus, even my money. I can give you two ways to make sure that you can break the stronghold of mammon over your money. You ready? Here's the first one, is you manage responsibly. And I know that's such good preaching. Incredible. You never thought about that, ever. But can I tell you, no matter how many times you see that word, it's still so hard to do. Because this is where you start talking about a budget. And you got to work for a long time to develop a budget. And then that ain't even the hardest part. Then you got to live by it. Gosh. Right, you're like, but it'd be so much easier to do. Nope, that ain't what your budget says. This is where it takes some grit for you to go, nope. I'm not letting my money have a spirit of mammon. It's the spirit of God. I already wrote this thing down. I already planned it out. This is how I'm lit. I ain't going to Little Caesars today. That might not be your crutch, but that's mine. I'm here all week long. It's right there. this is where it takes some work. Right? And you're like, but I don't know how to do that. We want to help you, okay? So 2 weeks from now, February 7th, we got Connect Group Expo. Come on, Connect Groups are back, everybody. Come on, we're back. We're back. We're going. We're moving. We're getting in them. I don't care. You got some Connect Group junkies up in here. They'll be in all of them. But all I'm telling you, if you're looking at your life and you're going, I do not know how to manage responsibly. I try a budget, but I don't know how to work it. I try to live by it, but I can't live. I need some help. There's these things called Thrive Groups that'll be offered, and you need to jump in one. Because here's what I've heard time and time again by person after person after person. Ever since we launched these at the beginning of 2020, they said, thank you so much for Thrive because it's changed my finances. And I just want to share, I can't share a million stories, but I just want to share one story with you this morning. And you probably know her and you probably love her. If you don't, you should know her and you should love her. This is Christy Judah, everybody. Come on. Hey, She's in this service in Enterprise. She's sitting over here if you want to look at her while I read her story. She said, this is my Thrive story. At the end of 2019, my family was living paycheck to paycheck like many others. I sporadically gave 10%, but I really felt like I didn't have enough money to give. As we came to the end of the year, Pastor Eric and Cheyenne gave us the word for 2020, Thrive. They announced that we would be having Thrive groups to help us learn to live with margin. I was up for anything to help my family. I signed up and I attended one of the first groups. And to say it was life-changing was an understatement. I set up automated giving. Instead of thinking about giving God my leftovers, I gave him my best. I also started putting money away in savings to be able to take a guilt-free family trip in 2020. How many of you know that was a goal? Right, we had goals financially as a church, but we also had goals for us as well as individuals. And one of them was to take a guilt-free, debt-free vacation. So she started putting money back for it. It goes on. Things were a little tight for a little while, but I continued to trust God. Then, bam, the pandemic hit. I could no longer work, but I was still receiving a paycheck. Things started falling into place. My truck was on its last leg, and we suddenly received an unexpected amount of money that gave us enough money to get a new vehicle. God provided. Over the next couple of months, both my husband and myself received promotions at our jobs. And we weren't able to take that trip in 2020, but I'm happy to report to you that I was able to book a family trip to Orlando next month. And I was also able to pay that in cash, and I still have enough saved for my husband and I to take an anniversary trip in May. All in a little over a year. I'm so thankful for Thrive. It not only helped me learn to manage my finances, but how to put fully my trust in God. When you trust in him, he provides everything that you need. Come on, can we give it up for that? Man. So if you've been managing, but you haven't been managing well and you need help, can I tell you, jump in Thrive. 2 weeks from now, you can jump in a Thrive group. And let's start doing it. It's one way that you can break the stronghold of mammon over your life. Okay, you want to hear the second one? Here we go. You ready? It's to tithe consistently. Now, I want to stop and tell you that everything we've done so far as a church, we've done it debt-free. Okay, so I'm not telling you to tithe because we need anything from you. God is our provider. Christy already told you that. We don't need your money. God will provide. But here's what I know on the other side of that is I want to be a part of some of that blessing. And for me to be a part of it, I got to sacrifice a little bit. So thrive consistently. You heard it in her story. I gave 10% sporadically. But then she said, I went automated with my giving because I didn't want to give him leftovers. I wanted to give him my best. I wanted to fully trust him. And can I tell you, I believe one of the greatest steps you can take financially to break the stronghold of mammon over your life is to go, God, whatever is first in my life, I'm not giving it to mammon. I'm giving it to you. I'm giving it back because it ain't mine anyway. But can I tell you something? The generosity of people in this church are providing a way for 19 salvations to happen and 15 baptisms. I just need you to know that. And I need you to know that you're sitting in somebody else's sacrifice. Listen, I want you to look at the chair you're in. Okay, if you're in Enterprise, those are $40 a seat. If you're in Ozark, you're sitting in somebody's generosity because Pastor David, one of our overseers, their church gave you all their chairs. You're sitting in somebody's sacrifice. somebody gave $40 for you to sit where you're sitting. For God to speak to you how he's speaking to you. And for him to move you how he's moving you. Can I tell you, every bit of good that comes in your life comes from somebody else's sacrifice. So what's your step? What's your step? If you're here and you're a follower of Jesus and you're looking, you're going, I don't know how to manage, in a Thrive group, that's your step. 2 weeks from now, jump in it, sign up. Go. Go. It's a start. It's not it's not an overhaul of your fight. It's a start for you to go, now I know how to manage a little bit better. If you can manage, but you haven't consistently been tithing, can I just be honest with you and tell you that the seat that you're sitting in, somebody consistently tithed to get it. And if your life's been changed at all, can I invite you to be a part of something? To be a part of the remainder of the salvations is going to happen the rest of this year in Enterprise, Ozark, and Church Online by your giving. Just sign up to go, you know what, I'm giving you everything. Because can I be honest with you and tell you that he gave you everything? Come on, you're sitting in somebody else's sacrifice, but in the reality is this, is you wouldn't be sitting here at all without the sacrifice that Jesus made for you. You wouldn't. You wouldn't. And God sacrificed his son to take your spot, to take my spot. Come on, the Bible says, for the wages of sin is death. That's what you and I deserved. But God loves you so much. Come on, John 3:16, for God so loved the world that he gave his one and only son. Come on, for some of you, you didn't come here to hear a money talk. You didn't come here to learn how to manage responsibly right now. You didn't come here how to tithe consistently right now. You came here to hear about a sacrifice that a man made for you that loved you so much that gave everything he had so that you could sit in freedom, so that you wouldn't be bound and held by the wages of sin any longer. Come on, this is why we do what we do as a church. So with every head bowed, every eye closed, Enterprise Ozark Church Online, band's going to come up, campus pastor's going to come up. I want to give you an opportunity today. If you've never said yes to a relationship with Jesus, can I tell you, don't worry about money, but worry more about sacrifice. The same sacrifice that Jesus made for somebody else to sit in here and follow him for the rest of your life is the same sacrifice that he's making for you. You don't have to be bound to the things that have been holding you for years and years and years. You can be set free today. The Bible says that if you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. That's a promise from God's mouth to you. If you've never said yes to a relationship with Jesus, you've been kicking the tires of church, you know about him, but you never surrendered your life to him. Can I tell you today, he sacrificed so that you could walk out of bondage into freedom, so that you could break the stronghold of sin and you could walk into brand new life. And can I tell you, he freely gives it to you. So right now, no matter where you're at, if you're in Enterprise, Ozark, Church Online, we're going to give you an opportunity to just say yes to a relationship with him. So just right there in your seats. I'm going to count to 3 in just a second. And all I want you to do when I hit 3, you just lift your hand just right where you are. We're not going to make you come down. We're not going to call you forward, make you stand. We're not going to do any of that. That's from your heart to God's right here. So we're going to turn it over to our campuses. And we're going to let them do that there. And I'm going to do that right here with you guys. Just right where you are. If you've never said yes, on the count of 3, I just want you to lift your hand and keep it lifted for just a second. Okay, just right where you are. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Right now, just say, yeah, that's me. Come on, lift it up. Keep it up for just a second. Okay, I'm going to pray for you. Okay, nothing special about this prayer. The reason it's special is because it's from your heart to God. So to go, God, I surrender to you. So right now, just under your breath, right there in your seat, just say, Jesus, I need you. Come into my life and forgive me. Separate my sin as far as the east is from the west. Surrender my life today. Take control, Jesus. Break every stronghold and lead me into freedom. I believe that you died for me, and I believe that you rose in victory so that I could walk in new life today. Help me live for you the best way I know how for the rest of my life. can I tell you, if that was your heart, if that was your hand, whether you're an Enterprise, whether you're a church online, can I tell you today you're a brand new creation. Come on, church, can we celebrate those hands, those prayers? Whether it's Enterprise, Ozark, church online, man, thank you so much. And we want to know, hey, stand to your feet right now. We want to know that you made that decision. So if you're in Enterprise, there's a card right in front of you, a little Connect card. You take that out, fill that out, flip it over on the back, say, I accepted Christ today. You turn that in at Next Steps. Man, they want to give you a brand new book. They want to celebrate with you because you just made the best decision of your life. If you're watching at church online right now, you can click that button that says raise your hand. Somebody will be in contact with you right now. So one person at church online during the 9:30 service gave their life to Jesus, so you won't be the first one, right? So you click that button and you get after it, because how many of you know what is happening right now? God's doing something else. Going, you don't start the year after 2020, you don't start the next year with 19 salvations and 15 baptisms if God ain't doing something. So he's up to something and he's moving. But can I tell you, he's not just up to something and moving in our church, he's up to something and moving in your life. He's up to something and moving in your heart. He's up to something and moving in your spiritual walk. Come on. And the only way we walk into that is if we go, God, we give you it all. So right now we're going to declare with our voices through this song that we're giving him everything. That we're walking into break every stronghold, lead me into freedom in every part of my life. Come on, church, are you ready to do this? Come on, Father, we give you everything. God, we sacrifice our life back to you. God, we cannot imagine the sacrifice that you gave of your son, but God, we accept it. And we surrender today every area of our lives, whether that's physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, financially, whatever it looks like. God, we sacrifice it back to you today. God, break strongholds today and send us off in freedom. God, you're up to something right now. So come on, church, with everything you got, sing this out.
You're up to something right now. You're doing a new thing right now. So God, let your glory come down. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. 'Cause you're up to something right now. You're doing a new thing right now. So God, let your glory come down. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. 'Cause you're moving mountains right now. You're breaking chains right now. So God, let your glory come down. Don't hold back. Don't hold back. No eyes ever seen, no ears ever heard, no one could ever comprehend. The word will be enough, your promise we will trust. Greater things are still ahead, you're not done yet. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. Greater things are still ahead. You're not done yet.
Morning, guys. Thank you so much. We hope you have a great week and join us next week.
Man, I swear, we're getting closer and closer to the end of this message, and I don't want it to end. It's incredible. The impact it's having on people's lives is eternal. Now, I need someone on my crew. I need hosts, okay? So do me a favor. If you are interested in hosting, I need you to go ahead and email me at stephan@churchwithyou.com and let me know that's something you're interested in, because we're growing and we need more people to say hello to people in the morning online, to engage in conversation and things like that. So we need you. Guys, thanks again, and we will see you next week.